What's up, guys? My name is Veronica, also known as Coach V, and I am your host for the Oversharing podcast with Live the Dream Media.
With you.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Oversharing podcast. My name is Veronica, also known as Coach V, and I am your host. Thank you guys so much for coming back week after week. I got to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. Your girl is barely rising from the dead. I was so sick this weekend, so hence the hot tea instead of my iced coffee today. It was a rough weekend. I got a little sick this weekend. I felt it coming on Friday. Saturday really knocked me on my ass, if I'm being completely honest. Like, the body shakes, the fever. It was only for a couple of hours, but it felt like forever. And then I finally broke the fever on Saturday night, kind of relaxed on Sunday, and then yesterday I took the day off. So it's good to be back in society. It does not do me any well to be home. It's really hard for me. And I'm sure that that's very relatable to most people, especially women, when we're like always on the go. So it was really nice to have a schedule today and get out of the house and be back recording with you guys. We have a really special guest today, but we are going to dive into a little mini-sode, get you guys caught up on a few things before we bring her on. A few reminders, merch. If you have not checked out our online store, we have merch, we have mugs, we have water bottles, we have some stickers, some shirts, some stuff that you guys can check out on our website. So make sure you take a peek. I'll make sure to link that in the show notes for today. And what else? I'm trying to think. Portugal. So those of you that have been following me know that I am going to Portugal. I will be leaving in about 2.5 weeks. I'll be gone for a solo volunteer trip. This is something that I have been wanting to do for a really long time. And excuse me. This is like the perfect opportunity. It kind of like lined up with my schedule to be able to leave. And I am going to be gone for a week. I'm going to be volunteering at a young woman's shelter/clinic in Portugal, in Porto, Portugal, where we are essentially helping get some of these younger girls situated into learning, some like life skills. These are young moms, teen moms. So we did start, I started a fundraiser. My trip is essentially paid for. Flights are paid for. Room and board is paid for. The program fee is paid for. What I do need help from you guys is fundraising essentially to donate into the shelter. Once we get some funds in there and I get there, they'll tell me like, hey, this is the things that they need. That way we don't come with a lot of stuff. But mostly it's just stuff that you would regularly use, feminine products, shampoo, conditioner. Some of them need clothes. Some of them may need backpacks. Some of them may need a new pair of shoes, whatever that is. So essentially, I'm going to go help provide learning opportunities for underprivileged teen moms. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also linking that in the show notes today. You'll be able to donate as little or as much as you can to help out, which again, super grateful for anything and anything that you guys can help with. Thank you. What else? Sponsor an episode. If you are a small business or a big business, if you are in the lash industry, in the beauty industry, you do makeup, you are a trainer, you own your own plumbing company, your own contractor's company, whatever it is, shoot me a message and I'll get you guys in contact with Live the Dream Media to get you guys set up for a sponsorship. It's a really good opportunity to reach a bigger audience. So make sure if you guys are wanting to sponsor an episode, it's actually priced pretty well. So make sure you guys shoot me a message and I'll get you guys taken care of. And then one last thing before we jump into our episode today. Last week's episode with Shiloh was freaking amazing. I loved having her, loved everything we talked about. She is offering a discount code for us, for our listeners. So if you go to either my Instagram, I'll post it on my story, or you can visit her, Hawthorne's Hacienda. She is offering 15% off for all of our listeners. That's going to be all of her products. All you have to do is insert podcast 15 into your checkout and that'll get you 15% off to try some of her products. I use the tallow, I use the cowboy coffee under my eyes, and her magnesium spray. All of it is amazing. So make sure you give her a peek. Check her out. Whatever makes sense. Again, super excited for today's guest. We're going to get into some sponsorships and then we'll be right back and have her on. This episode of the Oversharing Podcast is brought to you by Strong as a Mother with Shauna Leanne. Join like-minded mothers working towards similar goals online or in person. Shauna's 6-week Strong as a Mother program focuses on movement, nutrition, mindset, and accountability for new and expecting mothers. Reach out to Shauna via Instagram and mention Podcast20 to receive 20% off your first 6 weeks.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
Back to you.
All right, guys, we are back and ready to roll. Today's guest is a very special friend and someone I consider a work colleague. We have partnered up to bring you events such as the Valentine's Day workshop, ovHER, and a few others. She is known in the Tucson community for her ability to get a class moving their bodies and celebrating even the smallest wins. Please welcome to the Oversharing Podcast, Coach Shauna. You look so cute. I have to tell everybody about the dress because you know when you see something on TikTok and you're like, is it that cute?
Yeah.
It is that cute, you guys. It's that like you can barely see it, but it's like that crossover TikTok dress.
Tie in the back.
Yes. Okay, slay. Give them a spin.
Yeah, you know.
Woo. How are you, friend?
I'm good. How are you?
How was your morning?
It was good. I coached this morning.
Yeah?
And then I changed in the bathroom and made my way here.
That's what moms do.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I was sick for 3 days and today was like the first day out into society and I was like, give me the fresh air.
That's like the best feeling in the world. It's like you have a new appreciation for life.
After I saw you on Friday, because Shauna came over for lunch on Friday.
She made me that wifey meal.
I made her some beef steak.
It was so good.
It was pretty yummy. I
would
like to
come
say
over
I'm a
again
good
for
cook.
It was really good.
Well,
I could eat this for meal prep.
It is meal prep.
Yeah,
it's pretty
it's
healthy.
perfect for it.
That Friday night I went to the football game and then I texted Ernie and I was like, I think I'm getting sick.
Yeah, you could feel it.
Yeah, and he was like, I was like, just leave the zinc out for me and I'll try to rally. And then I went to breakfast with friends on Saturday. As soon as I got home and like laid down and relaxed, it hit me like a truck.
I know. That's
My friends were like,
whenever,
what the heck? You were just fine. I was like, it was like my body was waiting for me to like relax. It sucked.
And then it comes.
Yep.
It
Yeah, it
floods,
was like
for
full sweats, body aches for like 3 hours. And then I broke it. And then I took yesterday off too. So, but today was nice.
Good.
And
I'm
also
glad
it's
you're
getting
back
crisp
and,
out there.
good. I know. I'm so excited. I'm so like, oh my God. And now just like being a mom and I'm like, oh my
You're
God.
like, your little baby.
Fall. Yeah.
I love
I
that.
get more excited about like dressing Nyla than I do myself. But it's just like fun.
It's okay. Shout out to Nadia for the dress.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Nadia, for my
She looks
trendy dress.
smoking, sis.
She's keeping me like a cool mom. You know?
You are a cool mom.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about where you're at, where you started. Let everybody know what gives you the right, sis.
Okay, so I mean, whenever it comes to fitness, obviously Q likes to tell me I'm a fitness professional. I'm not a fitness coach. I'm a fitness professional because I do
like
lots
that.
of different avenues as far as fitness goes of helping people. But my journey actually started, I started working out at home in my living room with 5-pound dumbbells to Beachbody DVDs before it was like even.
That is crazy.
Now we stream everything. It was actual DVDs. And
Yeah, to like
I was in my
wipe
living
it
room.
clean.
Yeah. I did not grow, like I actually grew up in Ireland. I moved here when I was 12 from Ireland. And I did not grow up like doing sports or anything like that. I did do Irish dance once or twice a week, but that was really it. That was only
What's
like.
Irish dance like?
So you dance like on your toes. I can do it for you after. I'll show you.
Stop
a little
it.
Swear. Yeah, I still got a couple of moves in my pocket that I always pull out every
You're
time
like,
I go
"Oh,
out
look at
drinking.
this."
It's like my party move.
St. Patrick's
Swear
Day.
to God.
Shauna's on the bar.
Oh, yeah. There's been birthdays where there's been like,
Shauna, do the Irish dance.
yeah, but there's like actual videos of me at like every bar in Tucson doing it. Swear to God.
Oh man, that pre-mom era was lit.
Yeah,
Huh?
for real. It treated me well.
I love that.
So I didn't really grow up like in sports or anything like that. I honestly just didn't have the confidence whenever I was younger. I had kind of a rough childhood, which is why I moved to America to live with my dad and my stepmom. And even in high school, stuff like that, I don't know. I was always very girly and I didn't think I could. Like I just didn't have the confidence or didn't have someone that had that belief in me to encourage me to do so. So when I was like, I think around 25, that age in my 20s, I started working out at home. I just wanted to lose some weight. I had gone through a breakup, so it was like my like revenge time, you
That
know,
is the
like looking
best
for
time.
a revenge bot or
Dude,
something.
hold
don't
on,
know.
Cleans. I saw a gift today that said, a girl comes out of a breakup and gets a full ride to Harvard, a
I've
new
seen
car, and $1 million home. And I'm like, yeah, fuck around and find out.
For real. By the next morning.
By the
Like,
next
really.
morning, yeah.
It's really just how
And she's
females
got
operate.
a roster. You just
Yeah.
didn't know.
You didn't know. They're all in the DMs. But yeah.
I love that.
So I started doing Beachbody, whatever. Started working out at home, and that's honestly like what led into my passion for fitness. And it was more so like wasn't just about the physical changes for me. It was more so my mindset and how I was feeling, and then watching like all other areas of my life transform just from adding in like daily movement. And I was doing like 30-minute workouts at home. My form wasn't good. I literally laugh now whenever the videos
come up.
Oh my God, I love it. My push-ups are like a little.
Your elbows are like all the way up here.
No, like it literally is like the worst form you could ever imagine in your life.
I always find it really fascinating that everyone has such a different like approach to when they started their health and wellness, but it's always so different for everybody.
Yeah.
And like for me personally, and I feel like you'll be able to relate to this, like I don't train the same way I used to train when I was 19.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we talked about literally getting in the gym 3 times a week, and that's a good week, and let's clap our hands and on to the next one, you know?
100%.
But when I feel like when you're older and you start, the mindset becomes more important than when you're younger. 100%. When I was working out at 19, I was definitely like all aesthetics, balls to the wall, 100%, every workout. Like I didn't care if I was sore. I was like so like gritty. And now I'm like, I'm good. Like I need to go because if not, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
And I feel like that comes with age. So you're saying you started like at 25, like, and then you mentioned the mindset was also important. I think that's a big thing that
for
comes
sure.
with time.
Absolutely. I think the mindset aspect, people get in the gym because they want to lose weight or how they want to change physically. And don't get me wrong, that's like a huge bonus of it. And like, I want to, reap the benefits in that way physically. But I think what keeps people in fitness, because there's so many fads, diets, oh my God, don't even get me started of the stuff that's out there. When it's like, you just stick to the basics and you just see how living that out every day in a lifestyle just transforms your life.
And it's we want the kip. We want the kip. We want the quick fix. That's what it is. And when we hear about these fad diets and how quickly they work, and they'll work for a little bit, but then when you resort back to what you were doing, those are the basics, and those are the things that are going to carry you on forever. I think people forget that a lot. I'm like, excuse me, quit making things so complicated.
Yeah,
stick
it's
to
really
what you
not.
know, and stick to that for a really, really, really long time.
Yeah, stick to that forever until the day you die. Like
Until the day you die.
It's so basic, but we as a society have just complicated, especially as females. Like you can relate to this growing up. I watch like my grandma and my aunts go to Weight Watchers every single weekend. I remember they'd be like celebrated for like losing 10 pounds. In Ireland it's stones, but like it's different. But they would be celebrated for that, and then she wouldn't go back for another month and gain it right back, and then they'd
be celebrated again.
Then it's celebrate again, and it's like it just was this constant cycle. And growing up watching that really affected like my self-image, my confidence, what I thought was appropriate, that I needed to just starve myself if I wanted to lose weight. We're taught just like not to eat like
I was
a bird.
really lucky in that aspect. I will say, like my mom always grew up. I always think when people ask me like, how did you get into training? I always thought I was like, I kind of just landed in my lap. But my mom used to go to jazzercise all the time. And now that I'm older, more recently I've like caught myself replaying like these memories, and I'm like, oh, that's where that idea was essentially like
planted.
Yeah. And it
like
was
the
like
little seed was planted.
Yeah. And I don't remember my mom always being on like crazy fad diets. Like she's always been like a desserts person, but I do remember her moving her body.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of implemented like, oh no, you should move your body.
100%.
So I didn't have that perspective, luckily, but I can definitely see how that definitely has been a topic of conversation for a lot of women, like what they grew up. But then again, now you're a mom, and now you essentially, we know better, right?
Yeah.
Like you know what you essentially can and can't say in front of your daughter that could potentially affect her in a negative way in the future. It's like breaking that cycle.
Absolutely.
You know?
I saw a reel like a couple of months ago, and it like made me like, it just was like an aha moment as a mom. It was a mom putting on her makeup, and the little girl asked her mom like, oh, why are you putting that on? And the mom said, oh, I'm getting fancy. So instead of telling your daughter like, oh, I'm getting beautiful.
I'm covering my under eyes.
Yeah. I'm covering the bags from not sleeping for a year with you. You're telling them I'm getting fancy.
I'm getting
so it's like,
fancy.
You know, it's like a celebration type thing versus like,
I'm doing this
them
because
they're not beautiful. That you need to put on makeup to be beautiful.
Ugh,
like
today's going to be such a good talk. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah. So that was like, that was huge to me. It's funny as a parent, this is my first year like being a parent. There's key things or phrases that I see, and they just like stick with me so hard, like, and like get me through the day-to-days. Or when a situation is happening or something comes up with my daughter, like I can see it and replay it in my mind, and it's like kind of like changing.
It's a reminder.
Yeah, because we are on autopilot. Like the autopilot response to something or a situation happening, it's like stopping yourself, slowing down.
And assessing.
Like how should I handle this moving forward?
Also, sorry guys, like my throat is still super dry. So.
Oh no, you're good.
Okay, so you started at 25.
In my living room.
In your living room. At what point do you
weights.
get into, because was it boxing first?
Yeah, so it was like circuit training with some boxing incorporated. I wouldn't like consider myself a boxing coach. I'm not your girl. Don't call me.
Don't call me.
I can do some uppercuts, and some
jabs,
left,
some hooks.
Right. That's it.
Yeah. Son.
Yeah. I could like beat up Bob for like a couple of seconds.
Is that what you called him?
Yeah.
Bob?
Yeah, so actually that's like what we'd call it. People would always be like, oh, like we thought we just like named him Bob. It actually stands for boxing opponent body.
So like a bag.
Yeah. No, so like the guy, you know, like the mannequin.
The guys.
Yeah. So in the gym that I worked at, we had several of them like all over.
Yeah.
And his name was
Boxing
Bob.
Inc.?
No, so it was actually called Jabs. And it was
okay,
a little
okay, the pink gym. Got
and it was
it.
all women.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, so
what a
like
time.
that is, oh my gosh, I miss that gym so much. So
Can I tell
grateful
you
for
a
that
dream?
place. Yeah.
Like not like an actual, like I had a dream. Like
like your vision.
In a perfect world. Mm-hmm. In a perfect world. Listen, ladies, in a perfect world. Maybe when I'm done having kids and I don't have 80 things going on at once. In a perfect world, I would open the cutest aesthetic all women's gym. No penises allowed. And I would have different rooms, and one of them would be Shauna's boxing room.
I love it.
One of them, Ariana, if you're listening, would be Ariana's dance classroom, because that girl can get down.
That
and then
girl
one
gets
room
it
would be
like
the
nobody
barbell
knows.
babes.
Love it. That's
Wouldn't
so
that be so cool?
That's
And like
so
you rent
cute.
out the space, you get some yoga people in there if they want to just teach their classes.
A little bit of everything. Something for everyone.
So cool.
So cute.
Let's put it out into the universe.
I mean, the
After
energy
babies.
in that room of like, and we didn't go crazy heavy. We didn't have like a ton of equipment there. It was just like circuits and like using your body weight and like, and I got in great shape from doing it. Like it was a kick-ass workout. Like,
so did you start going there and then they were like,
I was a client and then they asked
like,
me if I wanted to coach, which is so funny because I was thinking about this as I was driving here. The first class I ever coached, literally my lips were like quivering as I was doing the demo.
More.
Yeah, I'm like, so you'll squat down, and like my whole body was like, so y'all squat down, like shaking as I'm doing it. I was so nervous, like to walk in a room, and it really wasn't that many people. So it's hilarious to see like the evolution of me now, because now if you know me, I probably don't care.
If I
I'm just
walk
gonna
into
walk
class,
in
let's
and
go.
say something.
Yeah,
so
that's amazing.
It's so cool to like see that growth throughout the years.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was
and
about,
we
like,
talked
5
about
years
that.
ago.
That's like such a we complement each other in a lot of ways, and that was one of the things that we talked about when I saw you on Friday. Is like it takes a certain kind of person to be able to walk into the room and be like, let's fucking go. Like,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing. Rack your weights, pick up your shit, wipe down your stuff. I'm not your mama. Great job.
100%.
Like,
But
good
I
class
love you.
today.
And
Yeah, I
you're
love you. You're
awesome.
doing great.
Yeah, for sure. I think especially in fitness, just like as females, like there's not, I mean, we had that discussion too. There's not a ton of females in this industry, especially when it comes to, I feel like group fitness, that type of thing, or that people that can walk in and just like demand a room while still being like humble and kind, you know?
Yeah.
You might have to like threaten some classes like I do my class this morning. If you don't shut up and listen to me, we're going to go run sprints instead of our squats
So be
today.
quiet.
We'll do some burpees tomorrow. No.
Oh my goodness. Relatable.
They like when I get
They're like,
mad.
"Aye,
They're like,
Shauna."
I love when Shauna's mad. I swear. They tell me that.
Yeah.
Like, we like whenever you're feisty. And
You're
I'm
like-
like, that's going to make me more mad. Don't
yeah,
tell me
stop
that.
it. All right. So you worked at Jabs for a little bit, and then and then you moved to
So I took like just a couple of months break. They closed down or whatever, and then I went to Jet Sports Training. I ran a all women's fitness program there too. That was very similar to what we did at Jabs. Megs, who was like the manager at Jabs, she brought us over there, and she was the one that like set all of that up, and it was her idea. And then me and my friend Nadia were like kind of her sidekicks, helped her out with that. I worked there for a couple of years, and it was incredible. It was a great space, and I'm super grateful for that. And then from there, now I'm at the Ruckus Room, which again, I feel like some people, we talked about this, some people are intimidated to even like go work out there.
Yeah.
So for me to just see the evolution of the girl who her lips were quivering to coach a class with like 8 people in it.
at the Ruckus Room.
Yeah, to then now go to the Ruckus Room and
Yeah.
not feel like I have to quiver or be nervous, and
Yeah.
be able to do that is like so great. And in this season of life, it's definitely where I'm meant to be, and I'm so grateful. Like those people have like rallied around myself and my daughter.
Yeah. I think that's been really incredible to watch. And I feel like I can only hope that that's very similar for like our gym community when we get to the point to start a family. But I have seen that, and it's fucking awesome. Like kids, first of all, kids growing up in gyms, I'm like, you're a different kind of breed. Like and people that are in that space are always usually so welcoming because they're already there to better themselves. So I mean, I saw the baby shower that they did for you, like the workout. I thought that was the funniest, most cool thing ever.
I know.
We
So
got to post that.
We strapped, I don't know, where is the camera? Like,
Your
where
camera's
the-
that one, baby.
Oh, hello. Hi. So we strapped like med balls with a saran wrap around people, and they did a workout. And
And they brought gifts.
And they brought gifts
That's
and
awesome.
diapers.
Yeah.
And even now, they're just like so good to her. Nyla's birthday's on Friday. She's going to be 1. And
That's
people already have like
insane.
been bringing her gifts and stuff. And I'm like, you guys are too good.
Yeah.
Too good to us, you know?
She's so sweet too.
Yeah,
She's such a good
she
girl.
is.
All right. So switching into a little bit of Nyla, but more about pregnancy.
Yeah.
So movement before, during, and after pregnancy, like give us your take. So you get pregnant. Did you immediately, like, did you just keep working out? Or, because I feel like this is my take on it. You know, like they say first trimester is always the hardest because you're exhausted. Like your body's like trying to figure out what's going on and how to grow a human. Like, how do you rally? Like, how do you convince yourself, like, even when you're about to throw up, to be like, I'm going to go work out?
So I think that's kind of the misconception from a lot of people that watch my fitness journey, right? You could see on social media that, especially like as I got big with a big belly, I was like posting me still doing my workouts. And so a lot of people since then that now have gotten pregnant and come to me saying like, hey, like I am so sick, like I physically cannot go to the gym. And I have to remind them, listen, when I was
wasn't
in
there
my
either,
first trimester, like you feel like you are drugged tired. Like to get up and coach classes was so challenging for me. I probably worked out once a week. During my first trimester. Yeah. And then once I got over that hump around 12, 14 weeks, I started to feel a little bit better. And that's whenever I started to be like, okay, like get yourself back in.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't get myself back in, there was no
wasn't
going
gonna
back.
happen.
I would
Yeah.
have been on my butt.
I
the
think
whole
that's
pregnancy.
a really good avenue for a different topic of conversation. That people forget that they only see what we allow them to see. Does that make sense? And that's with everything. That's like your relationships, your friendships, your vacations, your workouts. Like I can't even remember the last time I posted a workout, and doesn't mean that I don't work out. It just means that I haven't put the time into recording a workout. So
For sure.
like in my head, I'm like, girl, you were getting at it. And you're like, bitch, I was only working out once a week that first 12 weeks because it was so rough.
So rough. Yeah. But it's so true. I mean, and that's the thing with social media. Like you can share what you want, but you also can choose to keep certain areas of your life private, which I think is like a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But then people also
People don't
think
like
they
it.
know
They think
your
they're
whole
entitled
life.
to
Yeah,
your
they know-
information.
Oh, for sure. People
That
think that they're
part.
entitled. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like
Every time I have like watch these like TikTok scandals, like because I'm on TikTok and sometimes I'm like zoned in. But like when I
I'm
hear
trying
things,
to get on the
people are
TikTok.
like get on there and they're like, can you believe, like, I'm like, you only know what they want you to know.
For sure.
Or when they, like, when people get pregnant on TikTok, it's like a long-standing, like, whatever, an influencer, and people start making, like, speculations. They just keep pressing and pressing. I'm like, leave her alone.
Yeah.
If she didn't make it public, she don't want you to know.
Yeah, and if she is pregnant, she'll tell you eventually.
Yeah,
There'll
if
be a
she
child
wants
in her
you to
arms.
know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
agree. I mean, I think that that's like the beauty of it, but it just comes with it. I just always remind myself, like, it's my platform for me to share what I want, and I choose to. And if someone doesn't like it, then
Get out.
Bye.
There's the
ya.
unfollow, but I was going to say there's the door.
And
There's
obviously,
unfollow.
like, you're not going to show up to social media and be like this negative Nancy and unload all of the negative things. I think, like, the great thing about social media is you can turn to it for, like, I try to be like a positive light in my community, not someone that's going to bring people down. So I try to always keep it real.
Yeah.
Like, I never sugarcoat things.
Yeah.
But I also, just who I am in my own life, in my day-to-day, like, I am a positive person. I
Yeah.
am someone who looks
I
on
agree.
the brighter side of things, or I'm just like grateful for everything that I have, that's the way I move and the way I live.
Yeah.
So doesn't mean that people don't have, I don't know, challenging times or challenging things in their life.
It just
'cause
sometimes
they
they
aren't
choose
posting
not
it.
to post it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So week 12 to 14 is when you finally start getting like your groove back in.
Yeah.
At that point, what do you switch over to, like 2-3 times a week?
So yeah, probably like, I think I like eased back into a little bit, probably 3 or 4 times
Yeah.
a week. And then as I started to get my stamina back, I honestly worked out harder. I feel like my 3rd trimester than I did my whole pregnancy. I think at the start, I was just fearful.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of fear of like, okay, there's unknowns. People have a lot of opinions. And then I got
And
to
let's
the point.
preface this by saying, like, we are not your doctors, so make
Oh,
sure
no,
you
go to your
consult with your doctor about whether or not you should work out or not. From what I've heard is that
Yeah.
you shouldn't start working out if you weren't working out before.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't,
Yeah.
like, if you're not lifting, you
Yeah.
shouldn't just get pregnant and be like, oh, I'm going to start lifting.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
consult with your doctor.
I mean, I do know. So here's what it really comes down to. Because even my doctor,
Broke it
I
apart for
loved
you.
her. She was great, but I picked her because we were so different.
Yeah.
We were like polar opposites. So
You're
it was
like, I
good,
want you.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was like we balance each other out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure she told me not to lift more than 10 pounds.
There's
So
Shauna
even though
deadlifting
Veronica's saying
220.
listen to your doctor, I don't think I did.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
what it really just came down to was me listening to my own body. I
Yeah.
got to the point where like I was only working out once a week, whatever. Then I got back into working out and I just was taking things like so easy, so slow that I wasn't even like really fully feeling the full effects like I would prior to getting pregnant of like
Yeah.
working out. And then I got to the space where I'm like, no, it's my body.
I know. I
can
can
listen
feel
to
it. Yeah.
I've always been in tune with myself. Like, trust myself. Trust
Yeah.
yourself. And when I got to that point, that's whenever I started doing the workouts that I wanted to do, limiting it where I felt like that was my limit, lowering the weight, like
and adjusting as necessary.
adjusting. Yeah. And that was my sweet spot. Whenever
Yeah.
I got to that place where I just started to trust myself.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We're going to go to a quick sponsorship/ad, and then we'll pick up right where we left off. Yes?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltalon.com. Again, that's selltalon.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
There is a lot of digital marketing and digital advertising agencies throughout the US. I see a new one pop up every day. But we stand out because of our community impact, our client relationships, delivering and doing what we say. That's a key thing, right? A lot of places will tell you, hey, we're going to do this. They don't communicate to you. We're in communication with you. You're going to always get that real small business feel from us. You're going to have ways to contact us, ask us questions, right? Because we want you to do better, but we want to be better every day as well. And we're always innovating. We're always coming up with new ideas, new ways to win, applying for new platforms, and even creating some of our own platforms is some of the stuff we have going forward. So I would say that's what sets us apart.
You.
I'm like a teacher's pet. You don't even know. I'm like, I did everything right and perfectly, like you said.
A+, right?
Yeah. I've always been a teacher's pet.
Hey, have you watched, I don't even remember what you're talking about, but have you watched Tell Me Lies?
No? What is that?
It's so good.
Send me all the things to watch. I need like a good show that like if I just want to veg out after Nyla goes to bed
let me
night.
rapid fire you real quick.
Okay.
Tell Me Lies on Hulu. Have
Okay.
to watch that. The Perfect Couple on Netflix. I binged that this weekend because I was sick.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
What were you watching on Friday that you told me I had to listen?
That one.
That one?
Not Tell Me Lies.
Tell Me Lies.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
on
good.
Hulu. Okay,
It's
yes. You did tell me that.
It's good.
Okay.
Where I'm gonna start like a segment called like what you need to watch.
Yeah.
Guys, also I'm so sorry
I
about
never
these
know what to watch.
eyelashes.
I just like then end up friggin' scrolling or something on Instagram. I don't know.
TikTok?
Yeah.
All right. What were we talking about?
Well, we finished off with me working out and just trusting my
Third
body.
trimester. Trusting your body.
Just trusting my body. And
All right.
I worked out
all the way to the
day
end.
before I went into the hospital.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your delivery? You can say no.
No, I'll talk about it. I mean, I think it's a great lesson to just know that things don't always go as planned. And I didn't even have, people would ask me. So I'm just like not the person that's going to have like this birthing plan to like roll it out. Like,
Yeah.
I want this. I'm just not like that.
I feel like I'm not like, well, that's a lie. That is, I'm about to lie
I
out
feel
of
like
my
you
mouth.
are like that.
I'm a planner for sure.
Yeah.
I have gotten
I'm a
used
planner, but I'm very flexible.
I've gotten used to the idea of like when it comes to pregnancy, when it comes to birth, like you can have a plan and prepare as much as you can for that plan, but you also have to know that it like for you, it may not go that way.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm pretty strong-minded, so I've convinced myself like, hey, this may not go. Guys, also I'm not pregnant, but like this may not go the way
Everyone's
that
getting
you
way too
want.
excited right
yeah,
now.
everyone's
They're like, why is Shauna on her show?
Yeah, why are you guys talking about moms and babies? And my mom's probably holding onto her seat right now. No, mom.
There's no announcement at the end.
No
Maybe,
announcement.
so keep watching.
That's a good way to keep everyone intrigued, but maybe so.
We might have an announcement.
Stay tuned. So I feel like I am a planner, but I feel like it's good to talk about that. Like,
Yeah.
tell
So
us a
I
little
didn't
bit
have
about
like, people would ask me like, oh, what's your birthing plan? Which by the way, don't ask someone that. It's none of your business. Like the things people ask you is like insane. Like
Yeah.
you're just like, I don't know you that well.
And I don't even know.
I'm like, my mom didn't even ask me that. Like,
Yeah.
why are you asking me that? But yeah, don't ask people that. That's like very
I think that's
inappropriate
fair.
and very private.
Yeah.
But I did not have a birthing plan per se. My only plan in my head was
to
that
get the
I
baby
worked
out.
out my whole pregnancy. So this child is going to like shoot out of me in like 2 seconds and I'm going to do it naturally. Well, none of those things happened.
Not the natural, not the shoot out of me,
Nothing about
not
it.
out of my vagina.
Yeah. So I ended up having a C-section. What happened was I was over my due date. You go for stress tests, appointments. We had I was not prepared to stay in the hospital. Like I literally hadn't even showered that morning, rolled out of bed because, I'm already overdue.
Like, I'm 40 weeks pregnant.
I'm over being pregnant.
I'm too pregnant for this.
I'm like, little girl, come out, get out.
Yeah.
And when I went, I had been in there for 2 seconds and she was like, oh, you're not going home. You're staying. She's like, your fluids are low. So immediately she calls my OB. They
get
put
it
us
going.
in a room, get us checked in, all of that. And then long story short, I was just there for a couple of days. We tried different things to kind of get me moving. I ended up doing a more natural thing where you put a balloon and put fluid in it.
Yeah.
Not the most
Did it
comfortable,
work?
Glamorous thing, but it worked.
Oh, it did work. We talked about
that
this.
worked. So that opened me up. But then once they started the Pitocin, my daughter's heart rate just kept dropping, and we tried every position. If you're ever in a situation where you're trying not to go to a C-section, ask them for a peanut ball. They can have you lay different ways. And I had a nurse from Ruckus tell me that before.
Yeah.
So I walked in knowing
give me a
hey,
peanut
get
ball.
me that peanut ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank God I did, because they did not give it to me. I did have to ask it for it. However, I delivered at TMC and the girls there were amazing. I had my high school friend be my nurse the day that I had Nyla. I ended up having her in the middle of the night, but that day when I was going through the thick of everything, she was the one with me. And that was the greatest
That's so
blessing.
sweet. Yeah.
Beautiful thing on earth. That's my friend from high school.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even though we aren't super close now, it's no time's passed and you feel that closeness with
Yeah.
them. They know who you were.
Yeah. They're like,
20
we got
years
you,
ago.
girl. Yeah.
So that was really, really cool. And we tried every position, we tried everything, and the nurse prepared me hey, I just want to prepare you because I know this is something you don't want, but
It's coming.
they're going to recommend a C-section and there's nothing else we can really do. So when I did have the C-section, Nyla, that's my daughter, she was actually, her feet the cord was wrapped around her feet. She was kind of bungee jumping in there. So she actually saved me from trying to push and probably wouldn't have been able to
Get out.
anyways.
Yeah.
It probably would have resulted in a C-section no matter what. So it was a blessing in disguise, but it was very frustrating. I cried very hard whenever they told me that I was going to have a C-section because I'm like, no.
I feel that's the one
It's not
thing.
happening.
If we could all agree on something, I feel most women don't want a C-section. They're
and
like,
I
I'll
wanted
do
to
anything else.
experience, I wanted to experience the beauty of birth and all that, and pushing your child out. To me, that's so beautiful. And not to say what happened to us wasn't, but it definitely
different.
took away from it. I feel like it did. I shared with you the other day how when I was in the room getting ready to be cut open, they were talking about their weekend and vacation plans, and I'm laying there hyperventilating.
I'm about to have a fucking baby, and you're talking
about to have
going,
a child for the first time, about to be cut open while I'm awake and fully aware that you're cutting me open
through 7 layers of my skin.
Yeah, which by the way, it's not a sharp pain, but you can feel
the pressure.
The pressure, you can feel people pushing around. You can feel that they're pushing shit out of you. It's the most insane feeling in the world. It's not great. And so, yeah, that was my experience. And then you have to stay in the hospital for longer for your recovery, whatever. I actually, thankfully, I got out, I think after 2 days. I had it pretty quick, but I feel I'm very resilient. So I think that I was able to surpass whatever the expectations they were in order to let you go.
Do you feel looking back now, and again, we haven't even really gotten into postpartum, that's a different topic and we'll get into it, but do you feel your postpartum journey would have been way different had you just had a vaginal birth?
I feel that there's definitely, as far as you're healing from a surgery while trying to navigate the million changes of becoming a first-time mom, definitely just adds another layer to it.
Yeah.
However, if you have a natural birth, there's a lot of bleeding, a lot of pain there too. And TMI for any guys that are listening, but I don't care.
Soto.
Sorry, Soto. Yeah. You still, even though I had a C-section, I still was bleeding and had to wear the pads and all that kind of stuff. So I still went through that experience. Pelvic floor, I still had to strengthen it after postpartum, all that kind of stuff.
What would you do? I mean, I feel at that point, there's Would you do anything different?
I mean, obviously, like, life happens. I'm never someone that's gonna like go back and change things, but I do think that there was a lot learned from me. I think, like, moving forward, like, if I was ever to have a baby again, or if I could, you know, give someone advice, I personally would probably choose like a midwife or have a doula with me, or have someone to kind of help guide me.
Did you listen to last week's episode yet?
I started listening this morning, so I listened to like 20 minutes of it, and I have to finish it. But
so
I did
if you guys haven't listened to that, make sure you go back and listen to last week's episode.
I remember you saying that, and I was like, I have to listen.
I'm convinced.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready, bro.
For sure.
Put a baby in me right now.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you. I can't wait.
I'm scared. I'm ready, but I'm ready, but there's still some things, like obviously the Portugal trip and like after that.
Which I think is amazing that you're doing that before.
Yeah.
Like I can wholeheartedly say that like I've done all the things. Like there's no part of me that feels like, oh, this happened
I didn't get this
like,
done.
No, I'm definitely ready to be a mother.
What was it like adjusting to life postpartum? You're like a fucking blur.
It's like a tornado just thinking about it.
Okay, let's break this apart. Let's break apart like what postpartum.
Like, so I was thinking about this morning, and there's one thing that I want to share whenever it comes to postpartum. Being a mother to my daughter is the most natural thing I've ever done in my life. There's no part of being Nyla's mom for me that, not that it doesn't have challenging moments as far as being a parent. However, being a mother and like nurturing her and like doing
just
what I do,
natural.
It's the easiest, most natural role I've ever had in my entire life. That is not the hard part or the challenging part.
Yeah.
The hard part and challenging aspect is everything else in life. Figuring out how you do that. How do you still be successful in your life? How do you still show up? How do you still feed relationships in your life? How do you still
keep
take
a
care
job?
of yourself?
Yeah.
How do you still work out? How do you still eat clean? How do you still take care of you?
Yeah.
Which that's kind of a give and take. I think that as they get older, that it kind of shifts. But at the beginning and even now, just being one, like there's a little part that I get to take care of myself, and it's just there's a meme going around right now, and it's like moms show up tired. People always say like don't pour from an empty cup. Moms pour from an empty cup every single day and show up sleep deprived, tired, and do it all. And it's so true. You know,
I think that was so beautifully put, and I've never heard anybody say it that way. Like it is the most easy and beautiful thing that you have been able to do so naturally, like your motherly instincts. But it doesn't mean it's easy. And we talked about this when I saw you on Friday. I've gotten a little bit of both, but I don't know if it's now because I'm older and like people around the same age that are like having kids are just, I feel like a little bit more raw and real. I think our parents forget how hard it was because it was so long ago.
Well, yeah, I think time goes by and there's actually nirvana kicks in, and that's like, how evolution continues.
I don't like, she probably doesn't remember how hard it was, but now, like at least the people that I know most recently, like new moms, you, Tati, Nikki, like a few friends that are like acquaintances that have had friends, and they're like, they have said that. Like it is the most beautiful thing. It is the hardest shit you will ever do. Like it is 100%. So hard. Like it's hard to navigate. It's hard to learn. It's hard to understand. Like, and it's what you say. It's like, how do you approach something that's so natural and so easy to do naturally as a mother, but then also navigate all the other aspects of your life.
Yeah, it's like fitting all of that in
like a
with
puzzle.
Being a mom, you know, because that's obviously number one. And like for me, like that's forever going to come first. Like I don't care who, what, when, how, why. Like being a mom is like my number one up here, like always.
Yeah.
However, I still want to show my daughter how you be successful, how you can still follow through, make your dreams happen, have goals, you know, like all of those are important. But that was the hardest part in the first year is not being a mom. It's figuring out who, like when you meet your daughter, you're not just meeting your child for the first time, you're meeting a whole new you.
Yeah.
And you have to navigate that. You have to explore that. Like you have to figure out like, who is this person? Like, who am I now in this role? And find that identity. And that's where
hard.
The challenge comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about you seeing a therapist that really helped you postpartum to like ask for help. Would you say that was one of your biggest obstacles? And if so, like, what did she say that made you kind of like click and be like, okay, I have a counterpart in this that is very helpful. How do I get what I need?
So
to help yourself, right?
Yeah. So I think that like there's like a couple aspects to it that people don't really talk about. It's really fucking hard. Like there is, excuse my language, but there are really, really, really dark moments, especially like in the middle of the night, where you just like don't think you're going to see the light of day. And you think like, how am I going to do this? How can I do this? Or just even like with like depression, stuff like that. People have postpartum depression, which is really scary. And then there's also like the term that's used is baby blues, which are so real. Like, even though you're like, it's, as a parent, I've never been able to feel two things simultaneously at the same time. Like so much joy, the most joy I've ever felt in my life. And then the deepest sadness I've ever felt
at
literally
the same time. You're like, how does this exist?
I'm like, how is that even possible?
Can you give us an example?
You look at like, well, you look at your baby and you're just like overwhelmed with like joy
like
of how beautiful, like this is mine.
But then you're also
like, I'm
sleep
a mom.
deprived and you're like, how?
I haven't slept.
I've heard
like,
autopilot a lot.
Yeah.
Like your body just goes into autopilot.
And it was so important for me. Like I didn't want to be in autopilot. I wanted to be able, in a couple of years, be able to look back and remember the first couple of months with my daughter, remember the first year with her, of like how beautiful those moments are.
That's, that gave me like the
So for me,
it's
like finding someone. So I did sessions with Annalise. Shout out to her. She's amazing. She's a personal coach.
I want to have her come on the podcast.
Oh my God.
I followed her on Instagram. My girl, if you're listening, you're next.
Yes. She's incredible. I love her. I'm actually probably going to do like another couple of sessions with her.
Yeah.
But it was a big commitment. It's an 1.5-hour session every week for 4 weeks straight. And like for me as a new mom, finding an 1.5 hours to commit
you're like,
to.
where?
How?
Yeah.
But I also knew that like I have to. I have no choice. If I want to enjoy this, if I want to get on the other side or be in a happier place, like I need this support. Like this is necessary right now. This is a tool in my toolbox of how I navigate everything. So I did it and I shared with the people in my life, like this is what I'm doing. They supported me. They helped me have that 1.5 hours
Watch
every
her
week.
for an 1.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I did that with her. She does a lot of like energy work. Like she's very like in tuned. So we would talk through things, but we would also like at the end of our session, we would finish with like a 10-minute meditation where she would talk and I would like listen and feel the things and
she
breathing.
essentially would create a guided meditation for you specifically and whatever you needed.
Yeah. So speaking into you of whatever you needed that week. So every week I got one. And then for the rest of the week, part of my homework was every single day I had to listen to that. The goal was to do it in the morning. Huh?
She had it like pre-recorded.
So she recorded while she did it with me.
I love that.
Yeah. So
I know you explained that to me, but also like Friday I was still like getting sick and I think my mind was like in a blur.
Yeah.
So I knew you explained it, but I'm like, I want to know more about what it was exactly.
Yeah, no, it was like so amazing. So it was like every week was like something different of like what I was working on and what I really needed to kind of just find my power again and find that balance and center myself.
Yeah.
And so every day I'd have to listen to it. And it's so funny because like with a new baby, it's so hard to find 10 minutes in your day to like do that. So I would just make it happen whenever. Like she said it's best to start your day with it, but obviously my life didn't allow for that. And I would, if Nyla would fall asleep in the car, whenever I'd park, I would literally put it on there and play it and like do it for 10 minutes. Like just any chance I got. Sometimes when she went to bed at night, I would do it
like
then.
whenever, a bath time.
Yeah.
Give me one quick second. We got one more quick sponsorship break and then we're going to pop back in to finish up.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Alan Murdoch. For the past 20 years, I've been buying, fixing, and selling properties right here in Southern Arizona. And I want to buy your property. Whether it's a house, apartment, commercial building, or vacant land, regardless of the condition or the situation, I want to talk to you. When you sell to me, I pay cash and it's hassle-free. No repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. If you have a property you don't want to deal with and you want a quick solution, call, text, or visit selltoalan.com. Again, that's selltoalan.com.
Discover the power of 88 Crime, where your anonymous tips are rewarded with cash. When you call in anonymously with the tip, you are given a code. With the code and a password, you can walk into a bank and redeem your reward anonymously. If your anonymous tip results in a felony arrest, you can claim up to $2,500 cash reward. Let's stop the silence on crime and strive for a safer community. For more information, please visit 88crime.org or call 88crime.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
There is a lot of digital marketing and digital advertising agencies throughout the US. I see a new one pop up every day. But we stand out because of our community impact, our client relationships, delivering and doing what we say. That's a key thing, right? A lot of places will tell you, hey, we're going to do this. They don't communicate to you. We're in communication with you. You're going to always get that real small business feel from us. You're going to have ways to contact us, ask us questions, right? Because we want you to do better, but we want to be better every day as well. And we're always innovating. We're always coming up with new ideas, new ways to win, applying for new platforms, and even creating some of our own platforms is some of the stuff we have going forward. So I would say that's what sets us apart.
But the meditation.
Your life.
Yeah. So meditating whenever.
Yeah.
and
So I
wherever
would
you
have to do
time.
those every day, whatever. But the moral of the story was I seeked help from outer sources and someone who would be like a neutral party, you know, that you're able to just go to and like be real and unload, especially as a new mom. I feel like we think that we have to be like superwoman. We have to take it on all ourselves, that we can't ask for that help. We can't ask for that support. I'm someone who's always been like
Very independent.
to a fault.
Yes.
Independent. I can do everything myself, and I've just
I
been
don't
that
need you.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you as a new mom need all the support you can get. And I mean, I'm so grateful I've had so much support, you know. It is interesting whenever you become a new mom though. It just kind of shows you who really is in your corner. And,
Yeah.
you know, like the people that show up, like I'll just never forget the people that have shown up for Nyla and I this year.
Yeah.
That's going to like stand out to me forever, and no hard feelings for
Yeah.
other people. Honestly, people have life and stuff going on, but
I think it's just a conversation of like, sometimes it's where people are in their lives. And I
100%.
use this example often. Like when I got out of high school, there was like a group of like 5 of us, and like a domino effect, everyone started getting pregnant.
yeah.
So like one after another, like literally, and like, no offense, it was just like at 19, it wasn't a planned pregnancy. Like these people, like people got pregnant
so young.
So I feel like
so
a lot of those
challenging.
friendships like really deteriorated, because then you have 2 people that are completely at different places, you know? So I understand that aspect of like, some people stay around and like really make a conscious effort, and some people just don't. And
Yeah.
it's like,
and it's like no hard,
Yeah.
there's no hard feelings.
Yeah.
But I'm just, you know, like I'm
Yeah,
always
you'll
gonna be
remember.
super grateful
Yeah.
for those people that did show up.
I love that.
But for me personally, I learned 2 things about myself. That confrontation is very hard for me. Even just a simple conversation of like, hey, Veronica, this
Yeah.
happened. It made me feel like really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like moving forward, could we do X, Y, Z?
XYZ. Uh-huh.
Like that would give me like hives just thinking about having to come to you. So I've really
Yeah.
been able to like work through that and
Yeah.
find my power and my voice.
It's important.
And, I mean, I train little girls and I teach them.
We have to talk
use their
about
voice.
Pretty But Gritty.
Yeah,
Wait,
so-
hold on. First, before you lose your train of thought, you said there was something that you wanted to say before we forgot.
Oh, I just wanted to share.
The overstimulation part of
Oh my
motherhood.
gosh. So whenever you're a new mom, and even now, like Nyla's 1 year old, you get overstimulated very easily. And that then can lead to like insane anxiety and like just feeling like a crazy person.
Yeah.
So like this still happens to me to this day. Just I was super overstimulated. I had plans with friends and their kids, and I was driving with Nyla over to their house, and I kept hitting every red light. And that every red light, I was like, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose
it.
This is where
Yeah.
this is where I snap. It's like over a red light. Like, are you
Yeah.
joking? But it's just real and it's normal. And I think my number one advice for anybody becoming a new mom, and things people don't tell you, that it's really fucking hard. It's
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the darkest moments you've ever felt in your whole life.
Yeah.
But you're going to be okay. And your
there is a light.
stamina grows. There's
Yeah.
a light. And as time goes on, your stamina grows and you figure out how to be a mom.
It's like
And do that
exercise.
natural thing. Yeah. And then you figure out, okay, how do I add this in? How do I add that in? It becomes more natural and you're able to do it. You'll still have your moments. You'll still have your days like anybody and everybody in life.
Yeah.
But it does become easier and like there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
I think it's also really a really good point to share. Like you said, as you add things in, and like I'm gonna take that. I think that's one of my biggest nuggets today is like as you add things in, because I've heard you and me talked about like how quickly you went back, and I've always been like, dude, I was at home for 3 days and I was like, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Like I need to leave the house, and you're like, dude, 8 weeks is nothing. Like you wish you would have taken more time. If you could have, you would have, you know?
Yeah, I would have. If I could go back, I think I would have taken just a little bit more time to just kind of like slowly introduce things instead of just going right back.
I'm way more sensitive to things now that I feel like I wasn't as sensitive to before. And I don't know if this like comes with age, but there's things that I used to say and I'm like, damn girl, like you're like, I don't even have a baby yet. I'm already like going back, like co-sleeping. I used to be like, nope, that's my bed. Like mama needs to sleep too. And now I'm like, that's so beautiful though.
So Nyla and I 100% co-sleep, and I don't care what hate I get for that right now. I think that as a parent,
you breastfeed, right?
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, this is like, I don't know how this is going to sound. I think it's I don't care what it sounds like. You're never going to get this time back.
100%.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like she's only ever going to need you this much right now.
Yeah, and like a lot of people always make the case of like, oh, they aren't going to remember, but no, like their body and our connection and our bond, they're going to remember. And I think that a huge thing too is to know that you have to parent for the child, not what everybody else says. Like there's rules out there, right? Like don't sleep with your child, don't do this. And I understand like the safety precautions of that, but I was always very cautious of that. I was always very safe. For my daughter and who she is and who I am.
And what we do.
That's what worked for us.
Yeah.
And I was parenting for my daughter, not for what society is telling me to do. I actually had someone give me a piece of advice, and it was the best piece of advice I got before I had Nyla. Shout out to Melinda at Ruckus Room. It's actually Gavin's mom.
I love that.
She told me, like, always parent your child for the child, not for who's watching. Right? Because there's going to be many moments, even if she gets older, or she has tantrums, or she's what, where you're like, you might be embarrassed because of people around you.
You're
and
like, you're
no,
parenting your kid.
Yeah. Parent for what's best for your child, not for what society's watching.
Ooh, I love that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting close to the end. Tell us a little bit about Pretty But Gritty before we wrap up, because it is the cutest thing.
So Pretty But Gritty is my workout program for little girls, but it's so much more than a workout program. It's really based around the idea of building their confidence, allowing to like find their voice, use their voice, to know that it's okay to take up space, to know the importance of being healthy without having them have...
Guys, these aren't adults, by the way. These are little teeny, weeny girls.
6 to 12-year-olds.
6 to 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
I love that you also incorporate like a little bit of community service in there.
We always do. So we do, right now we do like 6 weeks at a time. And I have it set up like a theme for it. Every week we sit and talk. That's how we open up. And we always have a affirmation or a quote that we... have to go over that they're supposed to say out loud, remember it. We talk about what we think it means and feels, and then we go into the workout and all of that.
That is so
and
cute.
then the last week we always do like a give back project. So we've done like peanut butter and jelly sandwich for the less fortunate. This last one we made little like cake boxes to be donated. Different stuff like that.
That's
just to
cute.
teach them like how to be a stand-up
I love
woman.
it so much.
Yeah.
Be a stand-up woman,
be
baby.
a stand-up woman.
Girlfriend, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
So you can find me. I'm on Instagram
And
the most.
tell them a little bit about Strong as a Mother before. Tie that in,
really
girl.
quickly. So I actually have created an online program for moms, something that I realized as a mom myself and being health and fitness, it is so challenging to find that time to work out for yourself. So I have created at-home program. Everything's done online. I have a nutrition plan on there that is just like so simplified.
Takes the thinking out of it.
Yeah, like I used to do these elaborate, crazy, fun meals, which I'm sure I'll get back to, and sometimes I still make those. But there's days
Right
where
now, it's not the time. Yeah.
There's days I have to literally pick up rotisserie chicken and a bag of veggies that I can steam in the
You're
microwave.
like, let's go. Yeah.
So it just really breaks it down, helps them with that. They can do the workouts at home, and everything is they're coached online. They get one-on-one access to me. We also work on mindset in there. I'm very big on like
Perfect.
hitting all three of those pillars. It's
Yeah.
not just about one. So yeah, and I think nutrition is everything. Another huge thing that I learned as a first-time parent is accepting that working out 3 times a week is more than enough, and that in this
The
season I
nutrition
can't
is
go
more
to the
important,
gym.
yeah.
In this season of life, I literally cannot go to the gym 5 to 6 times a week like I was before. That doesn't make me less than. That doesn't make me less fit, less healthy. Actually, I think I'm more confident in my body and in who I am as a mom than I was ever before.
I love that.
Yeah. Just all the tips and tools for that.
She's also offering a discount for our listeners. And
Yes.
if you message her and mention podcast 20, she'll give you 20% off the Strong as a Mother program. So make
Strong
sure you
as a
guys
Mother.
message her, tell them where they can find you, and we'll
so
wrap
I
up.
used Instagram the most, just Shauna_Leanne.
It's 2 underscores, right?
Just one.
Oh,
Shauna
okay.
_Leanne.
I don't know why I thought it was 2. It looked like a really long underscore.
I don't think so. Now I'm second guessing myself.
It's okay.
I think
we'll
it's
check.
just one. If it doesn't work,
We'll put it
2.
in the show notes. Is that it?
Yeah, that's
All right,
it.
guys. And you guys
Thank
know
you.
where you can find me, allthings.gpsoto on Instagram. If you click the link on my bio, you'll find everything from Barbell Babes inquiries, personal training inquiries, and how to fund that Portugal trip. Help us out. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming, friend.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.